The people who love electric vehicles, the people who make them, the people running California itself are at war with sports cars. And if they have their way, they will kill the automotive hobby as we know it. And hey all, I'm Tom, the Racing Joker, on the side of the road doing a 30-minute reset because I didn't trip plan properly. And welcome to another episode of Car Topics Explained.
Suspect vehicle is a black BMW.
As you can see, we're at the side of the road here. I'm connected to my hotspot. We're going to talk about a couple things today that, well, welcome to the internet, where you can listen to a dude talk for about 8 to 10 minutes, hopefully not much longer, about other stupid people and the things they do. Well, let's start out with the really outrageous thing, all right? Let's start with that, okay? Let's talk about California Senate Bill 961. There's a few others that they're going to be voting on and stuff like that. My grandfather actually came in clutch with some information, and I didn't have a chance to look this up until, I'm working today technically, but I had to take a 30-minute break. This can't be voted on until February 23rd because it's pending in the Rules Committee, and apparently California Senator Scott Wiener has suggested that it be mandated that new cars past, I believe, the manufacture date of 2027. Let me just check. Okay, no, that's for something else. Okay, so I don't know what the deadline is for this. Either way, in my opinion, this is not a good thing. So basically, what Senator Scott Wiener is suggesting is that personal vehicles, all vehicles, be equipped with something called a governor or a speed limiter that keeps the cars from exceeding the speed limit. The threshold would be you can't go 10 over. This is in response to an apparent increase in fatalities on the road in California. Now, here's the tricky thing with that, because they're talking about speed limiters or intelligent speed assistance, using GPS technology, things like that. Now, here's the problem I have with an automated speed governing system in a car that is being operated by a person. Now, you see, in my semi-truck, the one I'm in right now, it has a governor, but it has an electronically mandated speed limit. I can't go past 65 miles an hour. However, if I'm in a zone that is a 55 mile an hour zone and I'm stuck behind someone who's limited to a speed lower than that, like 53 or something like that, it's a bad example. I can pass them, but I don't want to take 30 years to pass them, so I speed up a couple over the speed limit to pass them. I can't do that if I'm in a 65 zone and I'm stuck behind someone going 63. It's just bad. That's an example of a governor. I just thought I'd give that example because it's kind of a blanket term, but I guess there's different ways it can be implemented. Because what they're describing is onboard cameras, GPS technology, in people's personal vehicles, I guess. And here's the tricky thing with that. We know the American government isn't infallible. We know they are capable of abusing systems they put into place. So imagine a world where this becomes implemented. Your car now has a governor on it that stops you from exceeding whatever the GPS thinks is the speed limit. Now, let's say you're going through an area on a highway, there's no traffic, and your car suddenly tells you you're speeding, but you're in a 70 mile an hour zone, you're going 70 or maybe you're going less. But it's telling you you're in a construction zone because someone either forgot to turn off the work zone limit of 55 miles an hour, what I usually see, or someone put that on there so they could get some little bit of extra money and give people some easy speeding tickets. And if it's automated and people's, I feel like once they do something like this, if they think they can get away with implementing this, they might just start having people's cars automatically snitching on them, for lack of a better term, telling on themselves. Like, imagine if you're going down the road, your car says, hey, you're going over the speed limit, we're turning you in. And then you get an automatic, speed ticket in the mail or something like that. And it's just irrefutable, basically. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. Because the other thing is that, in case you didn't know this, exit ramps and ramps at interchanges usually also have reduced speed limits. You could be going down a 65-mile-an-hour road, and you could have a ramp that is a hairpin turn. But if the GPS thinks you getting off of the highway and making a right turn for whatever reason, it means that you need to get down to 25 right away. Like, is it going to know that you're trying to slow down safely? Or is it going to think you're just absolutely insane and you're trying to do double the speed limit and get away with it? I don't know. I do not trust most government officials and entities to devise a system that can't be abused and can't make things more difficult for people who are already good drivers. Like, I haven't had a speeding ticket since I was 19. Honestly, I probably could have, fought it, but I was 19. I didn't know better. And I haven't gotten pulled over since I was 20, and that was obviously 5 years ago. Sorry. I don't know, man. I just have zero interest in this ever being a thing for anybody. Yes, we have a problem with, people being terrible drivers. I don't think this is the best solution. This would be a healthy compromise would be having it be an option people could have when buying a car or ordering a car. Because let's say maybe the incentive could be, I don't like speeding, I don't like driving, but maybe if I put, a governor on my car, my insurance will, give me a cheaper monthly premium. That would make a lot of sense. But as an enthusiast, as someone who likes sports cars, what's the point? Because I feel like this could snowball and hurt a lot of stuff. And I made some notes just so I wouldn't forget. But like I said, the speed limiter is not a great idea because it can be abused. People can come up with construction zones and things like that to invent places where people are speeding in. Because, you're going down the road, sometimes you see a sign that says work zone, but they finished working on that stretch of road like a month ago and they're just not picking up the signs or something. You can't trust the government to not make mistakes that will then ultimately ruin the lives of upstanding citizens. But again, this is coming from California, so we can't be surprised because this is also the state where you can get a fix-it ticket for driving on, I think it was a stock N model Hyundai, N mode, basically sport or track mode. And the cop said, nope, you need to go fix that. And now you can't drive your car on the road anymore. This is the state we're talking about. We're talking about California, the state that hates sports cars, okay? They don't like sports cars. They hate them. They're trying to regulate them out of existence. And other states are following suit because apparently California is a role model state. Everything that comes out of California is great. Take Hollywood, for example. But then here's the other thing. I didn't want to forget about this, is that if this comes into effect, if this school of thought that speed is mega illegal, it must be regulated out of existence, and all that sort of stuff, then they can start coming after aftermarket companies that make performance parts for cars. Because if someone starts selling performance parts for a car that is supposed to have a governor on it, they're going to think, well, why are you selling a performance part for a car that can't go past, 10 over the speed limit? It'd be like the EPA coming after aftermarket companies for selling emissions defeat devices and things like that. I can't see how it wouldn't lead to that. So if you want to buy a supercharger for your Mustang, but it's a 2030 model or whatever, however long it's going to last, or you buy a Ferrari and you want bigger turbos or a higher flowing exhaust system, that might not be allowed anymore. Like, even to the point that, people selling better suspension systems, if they're set up to increase top speed or aerodynamics or whatever, like aerodynamics parts and other things like that, or like if they can get just a little bit of their claws into the aftermarket, they'd probably try to make it all illegal. This is the government we're talking about. We're not supposed. They hate automotive enthusiasts with a passion. They've never liked them. Even though Biden said he was a car guy, I think we've made it pretty clear in previous videos that that's not actually true. But if we want to talk about fake car guys, let's segue on over to electric vehicles and the people that build them and somehow support them and want them to just completely replace internal combustion engines. This is the rant part. This is the part I really want to do. Because quite frankly, if you're an EV enthusiast who wants all internal combustion engines to go away, I would gladly alienate you so you're not a part of my audience. Quite frankly, you're going to kill the automotive hobby if California doesn't do it first. And that's saying something. Because it's gotten to a point where, I don't know, they're like the, not that I have any problems, actual vegan people, but this is just a fun insult to make. They're like the vegans of the car community. They're going, oh, it's quieter, it's cheaper, it's better for the environment, if they're that brain dead to make that argument, but most people usually aren't. Truth be told, not everyone's that stupid. I don't know, it's going to get rid of the aftermarket because you can't tune them. A lot of them, you know, are so expensive and so complicated. Imagine trying to work on one yourself. Actually, with a lot of these cars, are they really serviceable, or can you only take them to dealerships? I've never actually looked. I know with a lot of them, you know, if you get into an accident and dress the right way, they're a lot easier to total out. I know that, I think it was Hertz. Hertz sells electric cars. Hertz is selling 20,000 EVs so it can buy more gas guzzlers. Now that's a headline. I don't want to read too much into that. I do know that that's a pretty serious symptom of a larger problem. The whole EV is the future thing, get rid of internal combustion engine thing, from an automotive enthusiast perspective, if you want the hobby to die and sports cars to go away in conjunction with everything that California is trying to do, I mean, good job, you're going to do it, because you're basically taking the stance the government wants you to take anyways. And if you're on the side of the government, that's usually a sign you're on the right side of history, maybe? If the government thinks you're on their side, especially with stuff like this, where they're artificially, you know, manipulating the market to create demand, I'd love to hear your argument for whether, you know, being all for an EV takeover is the right side of history. That would be very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you want EVs to take over, you got to say goodbye to the hobby. But more importantly, for people who like to stimulate all five senses, you also have to give up this. Imagine calling yourself a car guy and being totally fine with all of that going extinct. Imagine the type of person you have to be. I just noticed I knocked over a juice bottle out here. I'll just hide that behind my pillow. That's going to make me sound much more sanitary. I don't know, man. It's just, it's a weird, like, a lot of people are like, so-called car guys and boomers and this and that are fighting electric vehicles. Look, if internal combustion engines and electric vehicles were just options, I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't care. Because ultimately, I like having between 500 to 600 horsepower as my Goldilocks level of power. I'm not really interested in being the fastest. If you want to be fast and just have it be easy, electric vehicles are a shortcut to speed. There's no argument about that. But it's no longer about that anymore because the government has decided your favorite thing, being EVs, is the enemy to the hobby. If EVs win, you know, I guess all good things must come to an end, but it's going to be thanks to the stuff that you apparently are willing to die on a hill for. I still very much want to see what comes of synthetic fuels and stuff like that. And I also want to learn more about the fuel that's being made with renewable resources and food waste products that Shell's making. I think it's primarily with sugarcane and stuff like that. If you guys want me to make a video about that, that'd be kind of interesting. This episode of Car Topics Explained, really more so a Car Topics Discussed. But if you want me to do a Car Topics Explained about some of the interesting out there, let me know, because it's actually a form of ethanol. So if you got a flex fuel kit for your car, probably run it in your street car. Right now they're using it in IndyCar, the same way Porsche's using their e-fuel in their Porsche racing series. So yeah, I don't know. I am very perplexed that there are people out there who want to see EVs win just because I guess they're faster. And I guess apparently there are car guys out there that just are completely okay with their cars making no noise, which I just cannot imagine. In a world where the EV platform is an alternative and not something the government is forcing us all to live with, I'm less critical of that. But I would like to continue to buy, V8s, inline sixes, V10s, V12s, stuff like that. I'm not interested in silence and easy torque. That's not the experience I want. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Tom the Racing Joker. For those of you who aren't crazy, make sure you subscribe. And if you are crazy, but in a good way, in the Alice in Wonderland type of way, hit that like button. Tell me you're a cool person in the comments, and I will see you all next time. If you like what you've seen so far and you're not subscribed yet, make sure you fix that. Bye!